Hey guys, welcome to the channel. In my previous video, I showed you guys how to modify the Bluesound Note 2i and Note 2 with the LHY Audio Bluesound Note 2 and Note 2i PSU kit in a pretty long video. So in the video, I talk about why is there a need to modify the switch mode power supply to an external PSU kit where you may use an external linear power supply with the Bluesound Note 2 and Note 2i. Commenting on sound quality has never been my strength. So in my video, I talk about how to do it, and you may do it yourself if you are comfortable in first voiding the manufacturer warranty, and second, if you are comfortable in electronic modification work. In my opinion, it is not extremely difficult. In fact, it is pretty straightforward. There's no soldering required. There's no invasive modification to the switch mode power supply, to the linear power supply. It can be done pretty comfortably at 10 to 15 minutes. So again, I would like to recap that why we released this linear power supply PSU kit for the Note 2i and the Note 2 is really because we get asked very frequently that customer already pretty happy with their Bluesound Note 2i or the Note 2, and they would like to further improve the sound quality, but to some extent they are pretty much stuck with the Blue OS, where they are happy with it, of course, and trying something new might be a new learning curve for them. So my advice to them has always been like this: if you are pretty happy with the sound quality first, as well as the Blue OS, you like it a lot, and you think changing from Blue OS to another streamer operating system is going to be a hurdle for you, you may consider this PSU kit for the Bluesound Note 2i and the Note 2. Again, commenting on sound quality is not my strength, but ever since the release of the Note 2i and Note 2 PSU kit on my YouTube channel, the video, we get quite a good response where customer purchased the kit from us or from other manufacturer and did comment that the sound quality improvement after using the external power supply kit is good. So whether to do it or not is completely up to you, but I'm here to show you that it can be done. So that's for Bluesound Note 2 and Note 2i using the LHY Bluesound PSU kit. So we know that there are a couple of different models. Bluesound Note 2 and Note 2i was released pretty much before 2021. And in 2021, I forget, or I do not know which month is it, Bluesound released the latest Note N130. And this Bluesound Note latest N130 comes with a HDMI port output. I think it's ARC port, as well as USB DAC connection over the USB port. So these two are different models, and the PSU kit are different. So this particular kit is for Note 2 and Note 2i, and we have the reason why we buy the Note 2i is really because of this. We wanted to take a video to show you how to remove the switch mode power supply and install the Note 2i PSU kit. And we have the latest Note for quite a while, and we have been using the internal switch mode power supply with the supply power cord, where you may just connect the power cord to this device to power up the Bluesound Note and use it with the external DAC, or use it as a streamer on its own. And we thought of taking this further to remove the PSU inside the switch mode power supply with again, LHY Audio Bluesound Note PSU kit. This particular PSU kit is for the latest Note, and it is different compared to the Note 2 and Note 2i. So if you have a unit but you are not sure which model you are having, please reach out to us and we will tell you which kit to purchase, so that you may convert the switch mode power supply of the Note with this LHY Audio Bluesound Note PSU kit. So this is how it looks like when you receive the package from us: a PSU module along with a Ziploc bag with some cables, screws, and back panel. Right, the tools required to do this modification is really simple. A plus sign Phillips screwdriver, a bigger one, a smaller one Phillips screwdriver, this is for a smaller screw obviously, and a plier that I missed in my previous video. So we need this plier to help us with the nuts and screw tightening. And we gotta do the work right now. This is again the first time I'm doing this for the Note, but I think with my previous experience or doing this for Note 2 and Note 2i, I can do it quite easily. Say goodbye to this box. Right, before we begin the work, a precaution or disclaimer. Modification of the unit will void the warranty, and Bluesound discourage customer to modify the unit. This Bluesound Note is a complete product. It is not a kit product. It is not meant to DIY. So if you are not comfortable in voiding the warranty, if you are not comfortable in all this electronic work, please do not modify the unit. But if you are looking to further improve the sound quality, and if you're curious of what are the differences between the switch mode power supply sound quality versus the high quality PSU kit, as well as an external linear power supply sound quality, you may proceed. It may be a relatively economical solution for you to further improve the sound quality of the streamer that you like. Right, so let me begin. This is the unit, a complete one that is not, I would say virgin, that is not molested. And we can remove the back panel by using our fingernail. To our surprise, this is a metal piece that is securing to the back panel using magnet. So there are some magnet pieces here to hold this piece of metal back panel to the unit. I think it's a pretty nice design. Once this back panel is removed, there are a few screws that you can access where we need to remove 1 and 2 on the top so that we can pop this top cover open. So let me use my left hand, the non-dominant hand, to remove the screw so that you guys can see from this angle that the 2 screw at the top has to be removed. Right. Okay, hang on a second. Yeah, it's a non-dominant hand. It's kind of difficult to do it, especially from my angle here, but for the sake of this video. Okay, so once the 2 screws are removed, this top cover can be opened, can be lifted up, at least at the bottom side, at the back side. There are 4 clips that is holding the front side. We need to use a bit of force to pop this top cover open, but please be gentle. There are a couple of wires on the top panel is connected to the motherboard. If you are forcing this out by using too much force, the wire may break. So I will advise you to pop this guy gently, but using a bit of force, but do not pull this. So do it as what I do right now, and you should be fine. So there might be a loud click sound as I pop this top cover open, but please do not be alarmed. Right, hang on. Here we go. The top cover is removed from the chassis, and as I mentioned just now, there are a couple of wires that is holding the top cover and the motherboard. So do not force this guy out from the chassis or from the bottom panel. Thankfully, the wire is long enough so that we can rest the top cover as well as the chassis on the tabletop comfortably like that. So it's not going to stress the wire in any way. Right, but for the sake of taking this video, I'm going to lift it up like that so that I can show you the switch mode power supply with my pointer. It's a pencil with a dinosaur rubber on top for my daughter. Okay, this is a switch mode power supply. It takes the AC from the supply power cord and goes through the switch mode power supply, and it supplies the necessary power to this motherboard. As you can tell, this seems to be a little bit simpler compared to the Note 2 and the Note 2i, but that doesn't matter. We are going to replace this module with the LHY PSU kit. Right, as we can tell again, removing this PSU switch mode power supply module is relatively simple. 1, 2 connector to remove, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screws, as well as the 2 screws that is holding the AC inlet to remove, and we should be able to lift this switch mode power supply module away from the chassis. Right, I'm going to do it using my tools on my table, and let me just put it down gently. No damage. It is a new unit that we purchased sometime middle of last year. So warranty, I think in Singapore is about 1 year, and opening this unit will naturally void the warranty. So if you are not comfortable in doing this, please do not modify. But some of you may have the the latest Note N130 for over a year. It may already been out of the warranty, and if you want to take this to your hand, by all means, like me. Okay, I'll start by first removing the 2 connector, so that the switch mode power supply module is free from the main board, and I will use the smaller screwdriver to remove the screws that is securing the switch mode power supply to the chassis. Remember to put all these screws safely aside. We are going to need them later. Okay, 2 screws removed at the front end, and there are 2 screws that is holding the bracket as well as the switch mode power supply module. Remove them using this smaller screwdriver. Removing these 2 screws will not allow us to remove the bracket. The bracket is mounted to this back panel using another screw here, right here. So we are going to use a bigger screwdriver to loosen this last piece of screw that is holding the bracket as well as the switch mode power supply unit, and we should be able to remove this bracket right now. Here we go. This is the metal piece of bracket that is holding the switch mode power supply module as well as the back panel. And again, store the screws safely aside. We are going to need it later. Okay, this unit is kind of loosened already, but there are 2 screws that is securing the AC inlet with this back panel. These 2 screws needs to be loosened and removed as well. 1 and 2. Okay. Right. By then we will be able to remove this switch mode power supply module from the chassis. Just like that. So this is the switch mode power supply of the Bluesound latest Note N130. Right. We are not going to need this anymore. You can store it safely in the cupboard. But here we are. The LHY Audio Bluesound Note PSU kit. Some of the comment that I've seen on the YouTube channel is, wow, there are a lot of capacitor. I did a count just now. There are total 35 capacitor as and 4 inductor here. So this is the LC filtering circuitry designed by Jay from LHY Audio. It's pretty high quality and it's well made. It can be fitted very nicely and at this PSU compartment here. But before we do that, I'm going to show you what is inside this accessory pack. This Ziploc bag contains 2 cables. Okay, if you purchase this kit from us, you will know that these 2 pieces of jumper cable are pretty high quality. If I'm not wrong, it's silver plated high quality wire, and this connector here are gold plated. So it's pretty high quality stuff from LHY Audio. And there's this back panel that allow us to cover the AC inlet hole with meaningful indication to tell you that the required voltage for this PSU module is 5 volt. I'm going to talk about this later, and we'll put this safely aside. And there are 2 sets of screws and nuts that allow us to secure this back panel with this module later. So in my previous video, I forget that I needed a plier. So I have my plier here, and the next step you need to take is to align this back plate with the PSU module in this fashion and fit this module to the compartment on the Bluesound and the back panel with the back plate to cover the extra holes area that was originally like this. So the DC socket is smaller compared to the AC socket. So LHY Audio make this back panel so that to cover that it's extra hole that might not be pleasant to see, as well as to have an indication of the 5-volt requirement of this module. Right, once the back plate as well as the PSU module is in place, you may use the supply screw and a plier to hold the nut and tighten this to the back panel of the Bluesound Note. So one hand holding the plier with the nut, and the other hand you'll be using a screwdriver to tighten the screw so that it is secure to the back panel. Right, it's pretty straightforward if you have the right tool, but it's again very simple. No soldering required, no non-invasive invasive modification. I would say there's no need to cut any wire, but you need to be a bit handy to do work like this. I'm an electronic trained engineer, although I did not practice electronic design or related work during my previous career, but I'm pretty well versed in all this work. I think electronic has always been in my blood. I just like how electronic amplify sound and how loudspeaker generate the sound wave and transverse or travel to our ears so that we can hear it. Right, 2 screws, 2 nuts holding the back panel with a back plate, and this module is sitting very firmly and nicely on the chassis compartment here. Let me lift this guy up again to show you how it looks like at this stage. So this is how it looks like, and we'll need to use the screw that we have taken out just now to secure the PSU module to the chassis. I'll do the front part first, 2 screws. And later on we'll use the bracket to secure the module with the back panel. Okay, 2 screws at the front secure, and this is the back panel, I would say bracket. The bracket will be needed to secure the back panel with the module. Right, there's a bit of magnet, there's a piece of magnet here. It may stick the bracket out. You just need to use one hand to hold it and use the other hand. Hopefully your screwdriver comes with a little bit of magnet so that you can hold the screw like that and screw it on to the screw hole. It's done. So let me show you again. It's kind of difficult to maneuver my hand in this fashion. Right, the bracket is up and I've secured 1 screw, and we'll need to secure another 2 screws right over here. I did not do a count, but I think it can be done within 10 minutes. Right, again there's a piece of magnet here. You got to be patient, otherwise the magnet is going to stick on the metal part as it comes near to it. Okay, the bracket is secure. We have secured 4 screws of the PSU module to the chassis, and don't forget this screw, the black color screw, to secure the back panel with the bracket so that it is secure, so to speak. Right. Okay, back panel and the bracket, back panel and the bracket is secure. And we have additional 2 screws that is required for the top cover. And these 2 extra silver color screws are for the AC mains inlet of the SMPS module, and we do not need that anymore. If you plan to keep this module for some reason, you may. My advice is to secure these 2 silver color screws to the AC inlet so that you do not lose the screw. I know, right? Screw can be quite a pain in the ass, where if you misplace this, you're not going to find it anywhere again. So I would advise to screw the 2 screws at the AC inlets and keep this module safely aside for some reason. Okay, we are almost done. We need this 2 little jumper here to connect the power from this PSU module to the main board. Right, this is a high quality cable. It's a little bit stiff. You need to bend it a little to connect from the PSU module firmly to the motherboard. It's quite simple. Again, no soldering required thanks to the socketry work by Bluesound as well as LHY Audio. Okay, one is done, right? And we need the other one. So this the first one was 4 wire, and this is 2 wire. Okay, connect this firmly. Again, the keyword is firmly. You gotta fully push in this connector to the socket here to make sure it is tightened. Of course, there's this small little latch here for this connector to be seated firmly to the socket. But I always like to make sure all these circuitry are firmly secure so that the current flow from the connector to the socket is good. Okay, the other cable fitted nicely just to double check again. The connector and the socket are fitted firmly, and I think we are done. This is how it looks like after the PSU module installation. Again, my faithful pointer with a dinosaur cartoon rubber at the top. Okay, we have a LHY audio Bluesound Note PSU kit installed in the latest Note N130. The AC inlet is no longer there. It is replaced with a DC 5.5 mm diameter and 2.5 mm center pin DC socket, and it goes through a bunch of LC filtering and outputs clean DC to this Note power supply using this high quality jumper here. I think the job is almost done. I would suggest to cover the top cover before you do the fire test, the power up test, or in my previous industry we call it a smoke test, where we finish wire up some stuff and we want to power up for the first time, and we call it a smoke test, whether the first power up will see some smoke coming out or not. But I bet this shouldn't be the case for the Bluesound Note. It is a lot simpler compared to my previous industry where we deal with high power and stuff like that nothing will interest you. Okay, cover this top cover and we should be done. And covering this top cover again takes a bit of heart, where you need to force this top cover 4 clips back to the chassis. So this is the second time I do this, and I did this for the Note and the Note 2i, and this is the Note, and I'm gonna do it gently just to not break the clip. Right, clip it. Oops, no, it doesn't work. So you need to find the right position to clip the clip back to the position. So again, this is the clip, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should be in business. Right, it is done. Yes. Okay. No, it's not. So again, it's kind of tedious to cover this top cover back to the chassis. So you need to align this properly and use a bit of force to clip the 4 clip to the chassis so that it can be fitted nicely. I usually do not like design like this because it's a little bit painful to dismantle as well as assemble them. But again, from Bluesound perspective is that this device is not a DIY product, so consumer like us should not be modifying product like this. So it's not meant to be modified. Okay, it's done. The front panel, the top cover and the bottom chassis is fitted nicely. There's no gap in between. And the back panel as well is fitted nicely. And we'll need to apply the 2 screws that we removed at the first step to the Note. Okay, 1 at the right. Tighten it using my, again, non-dominant left hand, and 1 on the left. Tighten it and cover this magnetic metal bracket nicely to the back. Ta-da! You have successfully modified the Note with the LHY Audio Bluesound Note PSU kit with an external linear. It can be used with an external linear power supply with this DC 5525 socket. Yes, there's an indication of DC 5 volt. If you have done this and you do not have a linear power supply with you, you may consider the LHY Audio LPS 25 VA 5 volts power supply. It looks like this. It's pretty high quality. It comes in black color only, and it works very well with this Bluesound Note. please remember to use a 5-volt power supply. Do not use any other voltage. Any other voltage that is applied to this Bluesound Note or the Note 2i or the Note 2 will damage the unit. Use only 5-volt high quality power supply. Right, so if you have one with you, or you may purchase this as a bundle on bittechnic.com, you may connect the supply cable. It's a DC 5525 connector to the back of the unit, and power up the Bluesound Note by flipping the power switch at the back. It will tell us it is 5 volt and the Note being powered up, and it shows red color on the top panel and the red color on the front panel. And as the unit power up, it shows green color LED and stuff like that. And there are some display as well for the touch control. So working, there's no smoke. Okay, so again, this video is to tell you Note 2i, Note 2 can be modified with an external linear power supply module. Please let me know how do you find the sound quality changes after the modification. Commenting on sound quality is not my strength, so I will not be promoting this PSU kit as a great sound improvement, and this has never been my style. But if you are pretty confident in doing this work yourself, by all means. Right, I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.